My name is Deborah Whitley. Thank you for coming today for the purposes of my class with Liberty University, Communications 101. Today our topic is going to be the impact of divorce on children. Divorce is a reality for many of us in this world, and if it hasn't touched you personally, then it's likely that it has touched someone that you know personally. It's not difficult to imagine that divorce has negative effects on children, but it might surprise you to learn that these effects are predictable depending on certain factors. Based on my research, I'm going to give you some information on the predictability surrounding these variables. The impact of divorce on children varies depending on their age, their gender, compounded factors, parental communication, and community support. First, we're going to look at the impact by age. Weston is a researcher who wrote for the British Journal of School Nursing. Much of my information is based on Weston's research. His research indicates that children less than 5 years old experience guilt and blame themselves. Ages 5 to 8 years old experience sadness. Ages 9 to 10 in intense anger, and adolescents mostly get involved in risky behaviors such as sexual promiscuity, substance abuse, aggression, and truancy. Next, we're going to look at the impact according to gender. We're going to look at males first. In addition to Weston's research, we're also going to look at research by Berger, who wrote The Developing Person Through the Lifespan. We're also going to look at Neighbors and Forheim, who wrote for the Professional Journal of Adolescence, as did Palisand and Aro, wrote for the Journal of Adolescence. Their research collectively indicates that boys suppress their feelings, which increases isolation. This is a cross-cultural phenomenon. Boys ages 7 to 12 experience the strongest negative effects. Berger suggests that these intensified negative effects are as a result of the testosterone that they begin to have in their bodies that will later, bring them into the men that they will be. Boys perceive angry situations much more negatively than do girls because of this same natural occurring testosterone in that age group. Boys exhibit aggression and impulsivity well before the actual divorce happens. Parental conflict is experienced very negatively by boys, and even if parental conflict does not escalate to divorce, you will still see aggression and impulsivity with the male child. Females, much more streamlined information, but research still shows that the strongest effects are during adolescence for girls, and troublingly so include increased early sexual activity for girls. Weston's research continues to show us that compounded factors such as losing a pet, changing schools, reduced financial means, and moving away from friends can increase these negative effects. Divorce precipitated by the death of a sibling is particularly devastating to the children, and when parents begin to form new relationships, this can be almost too much to bear for some children, as it dashes their hopes for their own parental reconciliation. Communication is important in alleviating the negative effects for children. We need to use age-appropriate language for them. Open communication empowers children. Sharing the news of the divorce should be done by both parents, with the emphasis on the fact that it is not the child's fault. The goal is to resolve, the goal of communication is to resolve underlying feelings, no matter how difficult and how time-consuming that is. And then, although it is counterintuitive in our culture, we should share this information with coaches, teachers, Sunday school teachers, anyone that's involved with the child in the community should be aware, and this minimizes their isolation. Community support's the next area that Weston's research showed that when we ignore the reality of divorce, this increases the isolation for the child. We should, when we come in contact with children who are victims of divorce, should acknowledge their feelings rather than try to resolve what we think is the underlying problem. We should also maintain reasonable expectations for children. They have already come to have their foundation shaken with their parents, and they need those around them to act consistently, to maintain that consistent routine, to hold them to the standards that they've always been held to, so that there is some consistency, something they can count on in their life. In summary, we can see that these effects are negative for children, but they are predictable. They are greatest in boys ages 7 to 12. Compounding factors add to the negativity, and parental communication is key. Supportive community improves the coping for children. With divorce as such a prominent part of our everyday life, understanding the effects will help us to make sense of the world around us. Thank you.